You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
Barryville is a hamlet in rural America, part of the upper Delaware River Valley in the western Catskills, but it could be anywhere. Barryville is the climax of civilization. Yeah, the Trump flags are flying, even as gay bikers are rolling through town. This is a hot take on rural America, and whether you're new to rural living, if you've ever been bullied or beaten up in the country, or live in the city and just dream of getting away, this show is for you.
Everything's better in Barryville. Everybody's talking at me. I'm the world is saying, oh, the echoes of
Wow, Johnny, guess what? This is our 20th show. 2-0. It's amazing. And they said it wouldn't last. Ha, ha, ha. Well, I call that proof of concept. 20 shows in. Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations, Michael.
And it's an embarrassment of blessings. They're saying not only is this our 20th show, but this week is my 60th birthday. 60 years in show business.
And we have a very special guest, Martha Worzel.
Oh, I'm so happy Martha's here. Hi, Martha.
How you doing?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
Good. How was your weekend?
It was different. I went to the Forestburg Playhouse on Sunday and I saw the prom.
Oh, you saw the prom? Did it feel like your prom?
No. No, but as kids, girls danced with girls and there was never a problem. And part of this thing with the prom was a young lady wanted to take her girlfriend to the prom and all those homophobic parents had a fit.
That's part of the premise of the play. I've never seen the prom as a show.
It was very good.
Did you go to your prom, John?
I went to 3 proms, and then I went to another school's prom. So I went to like 4 proms. I was like a hot date. Yeah.
Really, with boys or girls?
All girls. I never went with a boy to prom. No, I was like more of an escort, I guess we'd say.
a courtesan, a male courtesan.
Yeah.
I never went to my prom. I mean, part of it's I guess girls didn't like me, but it just I was kind of an outlier. It seemed like that was like freaks and geeks, and I was definitely a little freaky to go to the prom. We're all punk rockers and stoners, and it seemed like a jock affair, and I kind of didn't really want to.
Yeah, but around here, when you were growing up, the prom was basically the end of the school year. It was in the gym. Everything was secret. We decorated and nobody knew what was coming in. But it was fun. My husband never liked to dance, so I always danced with his best friend.
Scandal.
I love to dance. Unfortunately, I'm married to a woman who's a terrific dancer.
You guys cut a rug. I've seen you in action.
Christine's a terrific. She'll let you twirl you around. My mom was a real good dancer, and my grandma was too. So at bar mitzvahs and weddings and stuff, they like to jitterbug, and I like that. They let me, old school, twirl them around a little bit. So that's where I learned.
I like the idea of formal dancing again. Like how fun would it be if everybody kind of knew how to cut a rug besides the embarrassment that took place in the 80s of just moving and jerking around, and that really destroyed social dancing. I feel.
Well, that's great. The song "Great Big Kiss." By the Shrills and more recently covered by the Basic Bitches, our friends who we're going to hear from a little bit later. And he says, well, I got a new boyfriend, really? What color are his eyes? Well, I don't know. He's always wearing shades. But how does he dance? Close. Very close.
Oh, my goodness. Martha, we have to tell you, while you were at the prom, we were experiencing something so exciting. So there's this local band made up of real-life wives, Crystal Grow and Naomi Scott. They're lovely. They live in Barryville, and they played at Bethel Woods. So they took their two-woman Riot Girl act to the stages of Bethel Woods, and it was so fun. And there must have been about 100 people from town there just to see the Basic Bitches with Pat Benatar. It was so magical and wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
It's great. I love the story that Crystal married into her favorite band. And Crystal was a fan before. The Basic Bitches existed in other iterations before it was Crystal and Naomi.
Oh, it was just Naomi.
And Crystal was a huge fan.
I had no idea.
It's one of the most romantic stories of all time. Anyway, they killed it. We're going to do a special report from that later.
Oh, yeah, we have to get in the copter, right? Our special astrosurfing copter, not the traffic
copter. The traffic copter, the other helicopter. But, what I want to tell you, John, is what I've learned in 60 years on the planet. And I want to share this with Martha because she's going to tell me if I'm on the right path or not. But one of the main things I learned is to be the tree that bends in the wind and not the one that breaks.
Correct.
That is one of the main things I've learned in my time on the planet. And the other is to learn to improvise.
If you don't know how to improvise, you're not living.
Yeah, you can plan and plan and plan, but if you can't, move with the current, you'll go down in a blaze of glory.
And at the tender age of 45, what have you learned, John?
I learned that sometimes you can't always get what you want, even though it's like the best thing, but patience is a virtue, and I get very excited and I want to do a lot very fast. And sometimes you have to wait for everybody to come along for the ride with you.
In the country, that doesn't work well.
Yeah. I noticed there's no hurrying some people up.
Well, I think what comes with just
yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was 45, and man, I was a destroyer of worlds. But no more FOMO. No more fear of missing out. Like now that I'm
absolutely not. No.
I don't want to go to every party. I don't need to see every rock concert. I feel like I already kind of have. So it's nice. I just feel more relaxed. I feel more comfortable with the thing. And we're going to talk about this in a while. I think the nicest thing I can do for myself is do nice things for others. And that's such a good place for me to be right now.
Yeah, and you have to like yourself.
Yeah, if you don't like yourself, who is going to love you, huh?
So what other wisdom can you offer me, Martha? What am I got to look forward to in the next? Some people say this is the third chapter of my life when you turn 60. I prefer to look at it as the second half of my life. I think it's a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good place. I don't know. I've got 20 years on you, kiddo, so I can't really tell. Well, no, I got more than 20 years. A little bit more than 20 years.
Well, I love it when I always stop by your house and you say, "You're so young, Mike."
I mean, I've seen a lot of things, done a lot of things, and I'm just taking every day as it comes. Basically, that's all I can do right now.
Well, I think you're killing it. I mean, you're sharper than either Johnny or I. Your memory's better than both of us.
No. Do you remember the first time you were on our show?
Yeah, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was almost 2 years ago at this point.
Okay, here's something I remember that you don't remember because you weren't alive in the 60s. And we're celebrating, it's the anniversary of the first man landing on the moon.
Amy and I just went to see that movie, Take Me to the Moon or whatever it was with Scarlett Johansson. And I leaned over and I said to Amy, I remember all of that stuff. When the first guy stepped on the moon and one small leap for man, one giant leap for mankind, and it just gives you goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, I was just 5, or about to turn 5, right before my birthday, and my father woke me up and said, you need to watch this, and it was on a black and white TV set. We were just talking about earlier. We no longer say things like black and white TV or color TV. These are phrases that we don't use.
Assumed, yes.
Right. But it changed my life because it inspired so much imagination in me. This thing, everything was about astronauts. If you went to the gas station, if you got filled your tank, you got a tumbler with the astronauts on it, right? Because the astronauts were actually bigger than the Mets in 1969, which was a miracle year for the Mets, if you recall. But it was all about astronauts. And I actually applied to be a journalist on the space shuttle program. After the teacher in space didn't go right,
I was
going
to say, so you guys had this lovely, lovely space encounter. So my generation in the early 80s, we were all wheeled into a classroom to watch the first teacher go up into space. It blew up, the Challenger, and then they quietly just moved us to a game of kickball. And this happened in a resounding effort to pretty much everybody my age. For me, it was second grade. And everybody just sort of in silence went and threw balls and beat the crap out of each other in the gym. And we just didn't talk about it.
Well, I said to Amy, it's amazing. My mom was alive to see the first airplane flight. And she lived to see the first man land on the moon. Now, what more can you say about life? She saw it all.
That's beautiful.
Well, we live in a very accelerated culture right now. Honestly, the space program hasn't improved that much since we haven't put another man on the moon since Apollo.
No.
and the space shuttle program has kind of been scrapped. The government now farms it out to private industry.
It became a competition, against our adversaries and us. So it sort of became something different. It was something to conquer versus something exciting.
Well, there's definitely a Cold War thing going on, but also, topsy-turvy times, what they are without getting into politics too much. When John Kennedy said, "We will land a man on the moon and bring him back safely," it was inspirational. And you got to remember in 1969, you can't remember, John, but I can this much because I was just a little kid. Obviously.
How old were you
I was 5 years old in 1969, but don't forget, the 60s didn't end until 1975. I do remember
That's a reach, Mr. Edison.
No, the 60s ended when Nixon resigned and the first Bad Company record came out. Those were when the 70s began. But I do remember watching the Vietnam War on TV. I saw the first man land on the moon. I was a witness. I didn't know the moment the Beatles broke up, but people were talking about it. The Beatles were terribly popular as a 5-year-old. Yellow Submarine was enormous among all my little kid friends. But what I remember is the leadership of John Kennedy saying that. And there was a moment there in 1969. Now, I'm not remembering this firsthand, but we spent a lot of time at Bethel Woods, the site of Woodstock. There's another 1969, and there was a war going on. There was a killing war. There was a draft that kind of enabled a counterculture. But for a moment, when the man landed on the moon, there were a lot of people who stopped to watch this miracle.
We were all together at that point in time.
Yeah, and that was an exciting time where people experienced things in real time together. And
right.
I think that connectivity is missing a bit from our culture. People consume news and get reports of news and different versions of reports of the news in different times on different mediums, on their phones, on televisions, streaming services. But I think that there was a real touchstone of connectivity when we all experience things, at the same time in real time.
Right.
People forget the first communication satellite didn't go up till the 1950s. This changed everything. It was the first time people could watch the Olympics in real time on TV and not watch. They used to, in the old days, they shot film that had to go to a laboratory to be developed and then had to go on a plane to be projected. And that's the way we watched it on TV long after the fact.
And how exciting that cable television came to be in our area, Mr. Alan Gary, right up in Liberty. So,
well, listen, I can remember watching Queen Elizabeth get coronated.
Wow,
that was a long time ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have the idea we're pretty due for a coronation. Not in our country.
Let's hope not.
Well, so far we've avoided having another monarchy. Let's hope we continue with that. But the King of England doesn't seem to be too long for this world.
No.
I think Prince William is going to be taking over pretty quickly.
Do you follow the British monarchy at all?
It's okay.
It was an obsession, with my grandmother in the 80s. Like, we watched anytime Princess Di was on television, any parade, any coronation, any jubilee, it was all eyes.
That's what I said. And when Queen Elizabeth was coronated, I saw it on TV.
Yeah.
It's incredible. One thing about Princess Di, that to me was sort of like I don't want to say like the high point, the low point, but of celebrity culture, the way she was being chased, the way she died, and the way her death affected everybody. And we live now in a world where celebrities, it's weird.
It was almost the ignition of it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We didn't change after she was basically chased to her death. We became even worse.
It was a flashpoint, and it should have been a warning sign, and yet it wasn't. Andy Warhol famously said, in the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. What I'm saying is, what he didn't tell you, we're all going to be famous for the same 15 minutes. so nothing counts, and that's the internet for you. That's TikTok for you.
And thank you for all that sage advice and wisdom.
Okay. Before we go into our next segment, we're going to talk to Warren from the Highland Fire Department. And I'll just share again with everybody else. What I've learned in my time on the planet is that you have to realize you're part of something bigger than yourself. And the nicest thing you can do for yourself is to do something nice for somebody else.
Correct.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back.
Martha,
with
thank you so much
Wagner.
for coming by. I love it when you come by.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. All right, I'm excited to announce our next guest. This is the Highland Lake Fire Chief, Mr. Warren Wagner. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for coming out today. I know you guys are busy. I know you guys were getting a call right as you were heading this way. How's it been going this summer? What's been going on? What are some of the challenges? How many calls you guys going on? What's happening?
Been a very busy summer as usual. Calls calls actually, once we hit June, July, and our summer visitors enter the area, our calls usually dramatically increase, whether it's just, normal fire-related calls or water rescue-related calls.
Yeah. I know it is interesting, right? Like all these big projects coming to town, there's going to be more and more people coming into our area. What kind of strain does that put on our local services?
It's definitely going to be a challenge for us. Our area is growing. It's going to continue to grow. I think it's good for us for the growth to come in. It's definitely going to put a challenge to our emergency services for manpower, for call volume. But I think, it's nothing that we can't plan for and we can't handle. It's just going to be more volume of it.
Yeah, and you guys are a really unique department for our town because you have this whole other dive rescue and water rescue aspect to the department. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. For years, Highland Lake Fire Department has always maintained water rescue unit, which includes our divers, our surface support people, and our water rescue boat. As part of that team, I currently have 9 certified divers within my department. We are certified to what is called a public safety dive level, which is a rapid deployment search and rescue diver, which is for public safety, which is emergency services. That's the highest level that we can maintain. As also part of our team, we are integral members of the Sullivan County Dive Task Force. Our department, I believe we still have the record. We have the most active and most members as part of the task force.
Deserves some applause from our studio audience.
Yeah. Our dive task force keeps us busy. We are made up of 16 fire departments throughout the county, all volunteer members from various departments. That includes departments that respond with divers, surface support people, as well as additional boats and support for us. We are responsible for covering every lake and water body within Sullivan County. We cover the entire length of the Delaware River from the Orange County line to the Delaware County line. We respond to automatic mutual aid into Pike County, Pennsylvania, the Shahola Fire District. We have traveled out as far as Lake and Wallenpaupack for water rescues and searches. And we also respond automatically up into Wayne County, Pennsylvania, in the Narrowsburg area.
That's amazing. That doesn't sound like a small town fire department to me.
It's a very sophisticated organization, I can tell you.
I think the last toll, I forget what the exact population was roughly that we cover, but I believe it's like a 450 some square mile radius or area that we cover.
That's incredible. And of course, everybody here, the river is the thing. We're a river community, so the challenges are much different than other small towns that depend on volunteer fire departments.
Oh, absolutely. The river is a unique entity in itself, from the water conditions, which would be the water level, and the current in the river. This river I've grown up in the area my entire life. This river is extremely deceiving, especially this time of the year when the river's low. We seem to have more incidents when the river's low. People don't respect it as much. They take things for granted with it, as opposed to when it's very high. When it's low, the issues we run into is the river's low. People think that they can feel comfortable with it. They can, if they're swimming, they can either walk out. Sometimes they can actually walk half, 2/3 of the way across the river. And the water's up to their knees, and then they step into the channels on one side of the river or the other. The river will drop up to 20 feet deep, and the current grabs them.
Yeah. What initially got you started in the Highland Lake Fire Department? When did you join, and how did they get you?
I've been a member of the fire service since I was 18. It's coming up on 44, 45 plus years now. I originally I grew up in the city of Port Jervis. I joined the fire department in Port Jervis when I was 18 with several of my friends. I stayed in Port Jervis until for a little over 20 years I had in the department there, until I moved to Glen Spey and then eventually moved into the town of Highland. Once I got back up here, one of my neighbors was very active in the Highland Lake Fire Department at the time, and he kept pestering me and kind of hounded me to join, that they needed help and they needed some people with some experience and things. So I ended up joining Highland Lake. I don't remember how many years I've got in now. I'm probably going to have coming up on 17, 18 years at least now in Highland Lake.
Well, when I moved up here, the first thing anyone said to me, Tony LaRufa said that to me, who lives right behind me, says the two things are get involved and respect the river.
Absolutely. Tony's 100% correct. On the get involved aspect, everyone needs help in this day and age. It's not like it was 40 some years ago when I joined the fire department, where we had an abundance of help. You had several young members. Now we have a place for everyone.
Well, yeah, it seems like I grew up in a household where it's like, okay, if you're not going to join the fire department or the ambulance or any other sort of service, then you have to think of something that you're going to do to give back to people, to contribute. And it sounds like that might be waning as like a call to duty with families nowadays. There's not a lot of young volunteers that are kind of putting themselves forward.
I think there needs to be a sense, and to be successful anywhere in this life is that you're part of something bigger than yourself. Johnny's heard me say this on the radio
several times.
But it's a thing, no matter whether you're in New York City or whether you're in Barryville, you need to realize that you're part of something much bigger than yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And our community here we're essentially a bedroom community and a vacation destination community. As a result, we don't have a lot of large employment to keep people here, especially young people. We do occasionally attract, some high school kids, but once they graduate, we might have them for a few years while they go into a local college, but then they move out, and you can't blame them for that. But the way the fire services and even the EMS service at this day and age, we all need help. We have a position for everybody. It's not just about being an interior firefighter and running into a building. We have positions for drivers, for support people. And it really doesn't matter what age group it is. We need help, and there's not hardly a duty that we can't find for somebody.
And, you guys also go above and beyond. You have your own, on-staff grant writer, which I think is such a wonderful component in this day and age with all the, new OSHA regulations that are coming down the pike. How did you guys start with this, and how's it going?
Actually, knock on wood, it's going extremely well.
Yeah, I knew the answer. That's why I asked.
I learned a long time ago from my cousin who was a fire chief in Port Jervis, and he always instilled this into us then. In order to survive, we need to be proactive and we need to be very aggressive. We can't live in the moment. We have to keep training for technology changes and just be proactive with everything, whether it's our training or our equipment. So that I've always had that mindset ever since I've been in the department. Since I've been in, we've essentially replaced everything from our equipment to our building. We've aggressively tried to pursue grants. We do live in a small community where we do have a limited budget. Our taxpayers are limited in a lot of times in what they can provide to us. So I think it's vital that we pursue grant funding.
So 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
One is, how can people get in touch with you who want to get involved and find out what they can do on any level? And of course, the second question is, what are you guys cooking over at the firehouse?
Right now, nothing. But as far as to get involved, there's multiple ways to get involved. There's the Join Sullivan Fire Facebook page. We have the Highland Lake Fire Department has our own Facebook and Instagram pages. There are directions on there how to apply for membership. We also are at the firehouse every Monday night, either from 6:30 to 7 o'clock on. And we also have a dedicated email address for Highland Lake, which is joinhlfd69.gmail. It's at gmail.com. Anybody can reach out to us in any of these or any emergency services organizations.
Any fundraisers coming up?
Yes, we do. We have a fundraiser coming up in August. Usually the second Saturday in August, we do our annual fund drive collection. We're getting ready. We just finished up the fund drive letter last week. That's going to be going out in the mail it goes out to every taxpayer off the tax roll within our fire district. We send that out to them. It basically gives them a summary of what we've done throughout the past year, what we plan to do, things like that. So usually the second Saturday in August, every year we go around and do a door-to-door fund drive canvas. And that money that we take in there is huge to us. That allows us to put toward a lot of our equipment.
I think it's amazing. You guys are such a sophisticated and large organization relative, like I said, to what people may think is a small town fire department. And we have so many weekenders up here who don't see this and don't realize what's really happening here. And we do have a lot of people who listen to the show who are just weekenders. So I think this is great. They can realize that, this is not, some guy with a Dalmatian and a ladder running around.
You're getting paid a lot of money. It's not like you guys are compensated. You're doing this out of service to your community, and I can't thank you and all the volunteers enough. And thank you so much for being here today.
You guys are heroes.
Thank you. It's definitely changing in the last probably handful of years, 6-8 years. Our call volumes have tripled to what they were. That just continues to change. As you said, like for our summer residents and or even more of our year-round residents now, we've had such an influx of people from out of the area move in, and they think when they dial 911, they're getting paid fire services, whether it's paid EMS or paid fire. Constantly, we encounter people when we go on calls and talk to them. They don't realize that everything up here is volunteer emergency services.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, I can't thank you enough again for all this information. Check out Sullivan County Fire Department Facebook page and look for directions on there how to volunteer, or just stop by. Are people welcome to stop by on a Monday at 6:30?
Absolutely. Please, anytime after 6:30, 7 o'clock every Monday night, we're there. First Monday night of the month is our meeting night, but please stop by and say hi and look around. And we can talk to you and show you what we have to offer.
But will there be chili? Firemen are famous for chili.
You bring the chili. You should volunteer and bring the chili, Mike.
That's usually our winter months when we're doing our ice rescue training. We do the chili.
All right. Well, thank you again,
so much for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Ask God what Barryville can do for you. Ask what you can do for Barryville.
Wow. And of course, volunteerism is one of the things that's so important in a small town. And it makes me feel safe and better to know that people are out there looking out for each other. And especially nothing more important than our emergency services. John, why don't you introduce our next guest?
We are here joined with Chris Tambini, who is the president of the Highland Ambulance Service. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, how are you?
We're great. So how's it going? How's summer 2024 shaping up? Lots of calls, lots of emergencies. What's happening?
It's been pretty busy, yes. Yeah, it's always, the summertime is always very busy when it comes to EMS.
Do you see a lot of a big influx, I guess, with the amount of tourists and people enjoying the river and enjoying different outdoor activities?
Yes, that's par for the course. The population increases in the summer, so of course your call volume goes up. Also, you have a lot of people vacationing, enjoying the river and the other sites that we have here, and it tends to have some additional EMS calls.
Yeah, and we can't really fend it off with a stick because it's our major revenue source, right? Tourism.
Sure.
We have to find a way to coexist and to accommodate in a big way, and you guys are a big part of that.
Yes, so we're definitely trying. That's for sure.
Yeah, and one of the biggest challenges as we get larger is how to pay for it and how to accommodate and which directions to go in. What are you seeing from the Highland Ambulance since you guys were established?
Well, since we were established, it's going very, very well. We continue to expand our services. We offer CPR classes. The Vice President, Tim Schatt, does the CPR classes. Also, we have added equipment. We are one of the few companies that have the Lucas device for CPR. It's a mechanical CPR device. We have just recently, thanks to the help of the county, replaced all of our AEDs. Matt McPhillips and the legislators helped us with that with the county grant. Last year, TC Energy was an assistance to us with acquiring a new LifePak 15 monitor. So we keep moving forward. We keep moving forward, trying to keep up with the times, keep the guys trained and involved and motivated.
But I know a big challenge, and just from speaking to Warren as well, is recruitment. So how are your numbers? Are you seeing a lot of younger guys come out and respond or want to be involved?
We're seeing quite a few. We get a lot of people coming in, joining the organization, getting involved, which is very nice. The training requirements for those that want to become EMTs is very high. It's quite a commitment. We were very fortunate. We just sent through three of them through school. Two of them have passed their test. They're ready to go. The third is awaiting his testing appointment. So hopefully we'll have a total of 3 new EMTs on board. The three of them are very involved, excellent members, great responders.
That's great. Anything else you'd like to add? Any public safety tips?
Well, we just, of course, would like to see everybody be safe. Wear the life jackets on the river. Enjoy the river. It's a beautiful resource, but please be careful because it is very dangerous. Another thing that we see a tremendous increase in is people using bicycles on the roads, walking on the roads. We would ask if they would please wear brighter clothes so that people could see them, avoiding any type of an MVA, and just for everybody to be safe. And we're here. We're here to serve the community.
All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Zambini, president of the Highland Ambulance Service. Thanks for coming out.
Hey, do you guys hear that? It's the Barryville Radio Traffic Helicopter. Tiffany, you're early today. What's going on?
Hi, guys. Hi, Mike. Hi, Johnny. Hey, I just wanted to jump on because I heard you talking about the river, and I'm right here. But first, I want to say a big happy birthday to Mike. Mike, you sound younger on the radio. Of course, no one can hear that white hair. Ha, ha, ha.
Okay, Tiff, really, we're going to go there? I worked pretty hard on it. Founding father number 3, that's my color.
Famous Johnny's color. Only kidding. Everybody loves you guys. Hey, we're all so happy for your big, sexy 60 birthday, Mike. Keep it going. But seriously, I heard you talking about the river, and I want to talk about river safety. Right now, I'm flying above the river just north of the Barryville Bridge, and there are a lot of people on the river, in kayaks, on rafts, fishing, etc. It's been a great summer with a high traffic every day along the river. But I want to see everyone wearing life jackets. I still see people without life jackets and some with. I want to emphasize how important it is to wear your life jackets. Also, there's a lot of visitors in cars on the road, and they have no idea where they're going. Yesterday, I got caught behind somebody who was stopped at the flashing yellow light. I had to get out of my car, give them a lesson on how the light worked. Yeesh! No, truly, I want everyone to be safe out there. Slow down on the road, drive safely, and wear a life jacket on the river.
Hey, Tiff, why don't you come to my birthday party this week? It's going to be a gas.
Sorry, Mike, can't hear you. Helicopter's too loud. Over and out from Tiffany Diamond at the Barryville Radio Traffic Helicopter.
Wow, Tiffany, thank you so much. You really are something. And while we're on the river, Johnny, you know what? It wasn't that long ago that you had received the award for the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway, the award by the Byway Partnership Award for the Shadfest. You and, of course, all the people that were involved, including especially the Delaware Company and the Sullivan County Legislature, the Sullivan Catskills Visitors Association, the National Park Service, the Upper Delaware Scenic and Recreational River, and all of our friends and sponsors and groovy people who came out to celebrate the founding fish. And at the time, I went down to the Barryville Farmers Market where we were celebrating and talked to a few notable VIPs about the Shadfest. And it's been a while since we've been on the air, but here's the report that I filed. So if everybody's ready, here is a Barryville Farmers Market flashback.
This is a special report from the 2024 Shadfest, recorded live at the Barryville Farmers Market.
All right, and I'm with Laurie Ramey, who's today representing both the Upper Delaware Council and the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway. Hi, Laurie.
Hi.
And congratulations on the Shadfest National Award. Why don't you tell me about that and tell me what actually is a byway? What constitutes a byway?
Right. Well, back in the early 2000s, Sullivan County took the lead on deciding that New York State Route 97 qualified for scenic byway status, which is actually an official designation that requires legislative approval. So Assemblywoman Gunther and others sponsored a bill to declare the route from Port Jervis to Hancock, with a couple interruptions of towns that opted not to participate, as the first phase of the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway. It consists of about 71 miles. in total, about 53 of which are part of this first phase designation that Governor Pataki, back in the day, declared as a component of the New York State Scenic Byway System in 2002. And what it means is that this route has special significance in terms of its culture, the history, the scenery, the recreation that can be done along it. It's a special route, and was actually in the 1930s declared the most scenic highway in the East. So from the start, from the inception of this highway, everyone has known that it has this special character that should be recognized and protected.
Has Frank Sinatra been here? Because he does say he's been on each and every byway.
Well, I don't know. And in the same way that George Washington has slept everywhere, maybe so.
Frank slept around too, I'm pretty sure. Is the Hawk's Nest part of the byway?
It is, yes. That is in the town of Deer Park before Port Jervis, so that qualifies, and that's certainly one of the most stunning aspects, scenic.
It's amazing.
Terms.
I can't believe that's the road to my house.
Yes.
It never gets tired.
Right. It's filmed a lot in commercials, especially vehicle commercials, where they like that twisty, turny road and the 200-foot cliffs over the scenic Delaware River. It's pretty amazing.
It never gets tired. Well, thanks for talking to us today, and thanks for all of your work with the Upper Delaware Council and the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
And all right, we're here with John Conway, the Sullivan County historian, great raconteur and radio personality, and of course, almost regular on this podcast. And John, why don't you tell us the history of the shad and why it is known as the founding fish?
Well, Mike, the annotation "founding fish" was actually coined by the author John McPhee, who was an avid shad fisherman and actually lives here on the Upper Delaware part-time. But he tells so many stories that link the shad to colonial America that the names seem to be quite accurate. Some of the stories are more legend than fact, probably. But for example, there's a great story that McPhee relates in his book, which incidentally is called The Founding Fish, about George Washington at Valley Forge and how after a bleak winter there, the troops were emaciated and starving and freezing to death, but there was an early run of the shad into the Schuylkill. And according to legend, Washington sent General John Sullivan, for whom our county is named, who was one of Washington's most trusted aides. He sent him and a few men out into the Schuylkill on their horses to thrash around and to drive the shad into some quickly made nets, and they feasted on shad, and that more or less saved Washington's army at Valley Forge, and as McPhee pointed out, in all likelihood saved America, because the Revolutionary War could have ended much differently had Valley Forge ended differently. So that's just one of many colonial stories. Washington was actually a commercial shad fisherman. Thomas Jefferson fished for shad, and he enjoyed shad broiled. Actually, Ben Franklin wrote about shad quite often in his newspaper in Philadelphia. So there are just quite a number of great stories about the shad. William Penn negotiated fishing rights on the lower Delaware with the Lenape based on shad runs. So they have a real direct link to our founding, and therefore the founding fish name seems pretty appropriate.
You are listening to the 20th episode of Everything's Better in Barryville. And now, back to Johnny and Mike.
Everything's better in Barryville.
All right, and we're back from our little flashback to Shadfest. And John, is your favorite band Shad Company?
No.
Do you subscribe to Shad Magazine?
I don't.
Is your favorite TV show Shadman? All right, I think it's a good time for the news. How you feeling? Here's the news with your host, John Pizzolatto.
I'm John Pizzolatto, and this is the news to me. As the town of Highland wraps up its comprehensive plan swatting sessions, I just want to say thank you to the general public for participating. You can see from this week's edition of the River Reporter that, we're discussing all things river, we're discussing all things future, but it really is the residents of the town of Highland that are going to determine the future What do we want to look like? Who do we want to be? We're wrapping up the end of this, and then pretty soon everybody will be getting a survey in their mailboxes, which we're really excited to hear from the people to see what they want. All things river safety, all things EMS, fire departments, short-term rentals, big developments, all the things that define a community and the character of the community. And I'm really proud of us as a group. And we're going to start to wrap it all up, put all the results together, and start to address the new codes and new regulations.
I think the SWOT sessions have been absolutely fantastic. SWOT, for those of you who might not know, is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Did I get that right, John?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Listen, I'm paying attention. And another thing I learned in 60 years, pay attention, because there is always a quiz later. What I'm really was thrilled about seeing at these meetings was everybody, the whole town, which were sometimes divided, as we know, but everybody came together to talk about how inspired they are by the river, how important the river is. And it came up in different language, like it is inspired by the river and the stewardship of the river and the legacy of the river and protecting the river. And these were our strengths and the opportunities to continue maintaining the beauty of the river. And the other side, of course, is that the threat of overdevelopment was number one in so many people's minds.
Yeah, a lot of people, see it as sort of a double-edged sword. It's commerce, but it's also, presents its challenges. So onward and upward, here we go. And we're really excited to go down to Bethel Woods because we're going to see one of my favorite hometown punk bands, comprised of my neighbors, Naomi Scott and Crystal Grow. This is going to be really exciting. And I think I have to say this is really important for my generation of music. Coming up in the Riot Girl scene of the mid 90s, to see that these girls have a place on the grounds of Woodstock, such a pioneering rock and roll venue. It really meant a lot to go see them down there. So I'm excited to get in our copter and take a field trip down to Bethel Woods.
All right, you ready? Here we go. Well, we're here at Bethel Woods, and let me describe the scene for you. That's the Basic Bitches playing in the background, and it's a sea of people. It's unbelievable. There must be 100,000 people here, some in sleeping bags, some in tents, and they're all getting up to rock out to the Basic Bitches. It really is like 1969 all over again, the punk rock version of 1969. Sometimes I feel like Bethel Woods is the place where punk rock never really happened, but here are the Basic Bitches to really turn the whole script upside down, turn it on its head, and they look fantastic. It's a beautiful day, and the people are really moving and grooving. So we're here with the Basic Bitches after an amazing set, probably the best set since 1969. Definitely the most punk rock set. How do you guys feel about it?
Good. Yeah, pretty good. We should say we're at Bethel Woods. And this is a huge stage for us, and it felt great. We had a lot of friendly faces in the crowd, which is always nice. Like Barryville really came out for us, and
they really did.
Yeah, but also some strangers and people just strolling by who came to the stage to watch us play, and that feels really good.
Yeah, it was amazing. Everyone really liked you. They loved you. You sounded amazing on the big stage, and the sound guy loved you too. He said to me, yes, he said, yeah, not hippies, they're awesome. But come on, you guys secretly hippies? Gonna go home and put on tie-dye pajamas? What's really happening?
Here's a little bit. Yes, I am because I love Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix, and there certainly I've had my moments of rolling down the windows in the summer, listening to the Doors. Sure, why not? So it is cool to be here, even though we are of a really different genre. I think we pull inspiration from a lot of different sources. I mean, you heard us do a Little Richard cover tonight.
I loved that, but Hopelessly Devoted to You was a high point of my summer.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Grease soundtrack. I mean, that was actually a song before it was in Grease. It was a hit for somebody, but Olivia Newton-John's obviously the famous version.
Yeah, and that's started out as just we were just kind of messing around, practicing once, and we were like, it just came together and we thought it was funny and we're like, I don't know, we'll play this when we sound check, or we'll just play it if like we get an encore. And it's kind of become a thing. Like people really like it.
I was tearing up a little bit. I gotta admit, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Now you can tell everybody you shared the stage with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, he was on this stage. Right?
This exact stage. Yeah.
Well, you know, the actual stage is just right over the hill there, which is kind of weird because I grew up, like, you know, watching this movie and kind of being part of it, and now I work here, and there's no escaping the vibe. It is very heavy and very beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's really lovely, and like everybody's been really nice to us, and the sound crew here that set us up was great. I mean, I don't know what I know what I heard on the stage, but I have heard that it sounded amazing out with everybody else, and like the sound crew here was super nice and cool and like made us sound really good, and that I appreciate that.
I think you never sounded better. So all right, I'm going to push the Wayback Machine and let's listen to the basic pitches and hear what happened today. Thank you guys so very much. I have a feeling you're going to be back very soon.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Everything's better in Barryville.
What a wild trip back from Bethel Woods in our copter.
Not the traffic copter though. We have
No. We have the astro surfing, live
our other helicopter
because we're big budget. Baby.
I'm getting you a bumper sticker that says my other car is a helicopter.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for our next guest. I have to tell you,
I am too. She's amazing. Alys Berry, and she's from a small town in West Virginia. She is basically the Appalachia LG, but she lit out for San Francisco on the West Coast for a while, but now calls Shadfest her home, and she's doing great things here, not least of all booking the River's Edge in Barryville, and she's a wonderful singer-songwriter. We're going to hear her sing a song in a little while. Welcome, Alys Berry.
Thank you, guys. Hi, friends.
Welcome. Say hello to your fans out there.
Oh my God! Hi. Sit down. It's fine.
You've been tearing up the stages locally at the River's Edge. Tell us all about it, will you?
Yeah, they're still burning to this day. Yeah. So I am working with Curtis over at the River's Edge to bring more live music to our small town to Sullivan County.
But not just live music. We were talking about this before. Situations where people can listen to music, where people aren't ordering cheeseburgers, and you can sing without having to compete with the sound of icing glasses.
Yes. So when I first moved here, I struggled a lot, just primarily because I left my band in San Francisco and I had to go do my own thing. And then when I moved here, my loving family was like, hey, you can play at this spot, this restaurant. And I would always premise to people, I don't want to do that. And I don't mean to sound like an arrogant asshole, but I'm used to playing beautiful venues and I don't want to compete with people eating dinner and nobody really listening. And so it's hard to go from something like that to not having it. And around here, there's no in between. You get, you're performing in a restaurant or it's Bethel Woods. There's no small to medium-sized venue.
I think people have been conditioned to not listen. It's weird. Like people's attention spans are so short that you need to set it up and let people know and send the message out. Hey, this is going to be a concert. You're going to sit down. You're going to enjoy something. I mean, it's great if people want to get up and dance. That's amazing. But people are so used to getting drinks and having side conversations because they're looking at their phones. No one's got any attention span. It's nice when people sit and listen.
Alys, what brought you and Kayleen to Shahola or the greater Barryville area?
Well, we came here because Kathy, my awesome mother-in-law, lives in Narrowsburg. And so we wanted to try something different. I think with not to dive too deep, but climate change is a real thing. And the fire seasons in California were just getting really insane. And every summer we would have to, evacuate from the Santa Cruz Mountains because there's a fire and there's one way in and one way out. And then it's just smoky and it's insanely expensive. And so we were like, we don't have kids yet. So let's go try something new. And then we visited here. We visited Kathy And then we just loved it. I love this place. It's got everything. It reminds me of home, but without some of the bullshit, so that's why I like it.
Okay, but you're from a small town in West Virginia.
Yes.
So tell me, what are the parallels between Shohola or Barryville, if you like, and your town in West Virginia?
I mean, there's definitely, you see your fair amount of Trump flags and that sort of thing. So there's that part of it. But the other part is, it's just gorgeous. It's a beautiful, remote place. It's still kind of, centrally located, I guess, here. You could go to New York City, but it's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. You could get outside and swim in the river, and it's one of the most beautiful places in this country. And I've been to almost all of our states, and we drove actually across the country when we moved here. So we did the southern route, but that's what I think that those are big parallels. It's just how beautiful it is, how people really value the environment here. People are outdoorsy, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of parallels. It's awesome.
And we have a lot of uncut gems in the middle of the woods too. There's so many special people in the area, and I'm assuming your small hometown is the same. I'm always just impressed with the amount of talent and just originality that comes out of small communities.
Yeah, people have things to say. They have real lived experiences that are unique to small towns, and it's a really beautiful thing to hear, to see creatives come out of these types of places. So
you're going to sing a song for us. We're all excited about that. And now you're from West Virginia. So what influence does the Appalachia music have on your music? Because I'm from New York City, and it's had an incredible, cast a long shadow on my music.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what's the inspiration? What are you going to sing, and what's the inspiration?
It's definitely folky. So, Appalachia folk music is deeply rooted in where I'm from. And so a lot of country music as well, but that old school folk kind of country music. So you're talking about Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, those guys. So I grew up listening to all of those guys. And so that's really what inspires me. It's not too over the top country, but because there's that folk element to it, and so that's my inspiration.
All right, well, I'll make sure to turn up the countrified knob on the machine here. So why don't we take it to Studio B, and let's hear Alys sing a song. So what are you going to sing for us?
Stand in the Sun.
Can't wait. Here we go.
And your mind, but I stand in the sun. Many moments race through your mind, making memories harder to find. It's the trouble of time. You and I, we are free. So save me from this winter, because the cold is here to stay. Without the warmth of your body, our souls will dance away, singing. But I stand in the sun. Dusk and on me, it's hard to tell the difference between us. So standing in the dark, waiting for the light to arrive. Many moments race through your mind, making memories harder to find. It's a struggle of time. You and I, we are free. So save me from this winter, because the cold is here to stay. Without the warmth of your body, our souls will dance away, singing. But I stand in the sun, singing. But the sun, singing. I stand in the sun.
Wow, very
That was beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
You know, you have such a presence just vocally and physically. I remember the first time I really hung tough with you and your wife. You guys walked in after the Shania Twain show and like full Western Appalachian gear.
Man.
But it was a vision.
I think we kicked down the door. I don't think we walked it.
Yeah. It was. We had family in town, and they're like, "Damn, this town's crazy and amazing! Wow, look at these beautiful people."
Well, before we go, we want to plug all the shows coming up at the River's Edge, which you're
The
involved
Black
in.
Velvet Lounge,
The
as
Black
it
Velvet
were, right?
Lounge, yes,
I
that's
love it.
right.
Really classing up the joint, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. And I want to be very pointed about something really quick is what we're really trying to curate at the Black Velvet Lounge is that people come to a place to see live music. It's not like Rafters is amazing. I love that place. I love the Pump House. But people are going to, have a drink or they're going to go have dinner. I want to curate a space that you go because that's where you go see live music, just as you would any other venue. Let's say the Mercury Lounge, for example. So anyways, I want to make sure that's...
I love it. I love it.
It's
We're
at the
definitely
forefront.
vibrating at the same frequency.
So who's next? Who's next? What's going on?
Yes, let's talk about who we have coming up. So all of August is pretty much stacked every Saturday, starting with the first gig on August 10th, first live music show. We have Scott Weiss Band.
Scott Weiss is amazing. He's
awesome.
Huge blues guitar player. Total,
Give it up for Scott Weiss.
Montreux Blues, and also we should plug Water Wheel Guitars in Milford because he's been
Yes.
taking very good care of both Lisa and I.
Yes, he keeps the musicians running around here, and he is amazing. And he's got a European tour coming up soon, and I'm very excited for him. He's an incredible musician. Come out, see him. Scott Weiss Band, August 10th. That's a Saturday. Opening up for him, because we also want to, curate local artists as well, is Veronica Fernandez is opening up for him. on
Where is
August
she
10th.
from, Veronica?
She lives in Narrowsburg.
I feel like I've met her before.
You have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you definitely
Good
have.
stuff. That name
Yes.
sounds familiar.
Okay, I just want to say, as I'm approaching 60, I spend most of my time pretending to remember the people that I've met before.
I need to remain accountable at all times. So I'm like, I need facts. I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know.
And then August 17th, our friends Basic Bitches.
Yes, they tore it up at Bethel Woods.
And
Amazing.
And I think they're just going to walk over to the gig.
Yeah, probably.
I love it.
They just live across Route 55 from the River's Edge.
Are you going to be performing at these two gigs?
I am not. I truly want to be behind the scenes supporting the artists and whatever they need.
I love it. Well, on August 10th, you can walk across the street when the show's over and you can come sing in our karaoke at the Oasis. So come and do that. Yeah. That'll be a blast.
That will be awesome. So with them, though, we should mention is their Bud's Desert Sharks. They're a Brooklyn-based band, I believe, and they shred. These girls are amazing.
I love the name.
Yeah, they're badass. So it's just going to be a badass stack. That whole show is going to be incredible. Please come out. I mean, I don't even have to beg you. It's going to be incredible. People, you're going to want to be there.
Punk rock comes to Barryville.
Punk rock comes to Barryville. That's right. And then on Saturday, August 24th, closing out the month, we have our friends, the Electric Chords.
Decidedly not punk rock.
Yeah. No, but feel good
Just
anytime.
badass,
good listening.
face melting. Greg just kills it on that guitar. Man, that guitar smokes when he puts it down. It's crazy.
That's great. Sullivan County, his
Shreds.
favorite sons.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today. Thank you to all of our guests. This has been quite a show.
All right. Well, summer's not over yet, Johnny. So I hope we're going to do this one more time before we push pause, before the back to school special, which I'm sure is coming in September. The world is kind of topsy-turvy. So I'm wishing everybody Godspeed, and we love you all.
Yeah. And hey, Mike, happy 2-0. It's the big 20th.
It is
so.
our 20th, our 20th show. And
it feels like that. I don't feel quite old enough to drink, but I feel like I've seen the world,
Okay. I've been on the planet longer than you, Johnny. Don't forget.
All right. Let's fade out. We'll talk to you guys later.
Significantly longer than you. All right. Don't forget.
Everything's better in Barryville.
We'll see you soon.
Everybody's talking at me. Don't you hear them saying?
This show is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.